watching Novi Pulse, a show that lets you, the viewer, get an inside look at the trends and the people who run today's local and global businesses in the community of Novi. I'm Greg Chapman, and together we will see what it takes to be a leader in Novi. Local to Southeast Michigan, graduating Farmington High School, Michigan State University with a degree in finance, and continuing on to the University of Detroit School of Law, and passing the state bar exam in 1990, Blair Bowman is a name associated with growth in the city of Novi. In 1991, Blair undertook a major redevelopment project known as the Novi Expo Center. Then, through a new entity, T-Bond LLC, broke ground in 2004 on a new, state-of-the-art exposition center known today as Rock Financial Showplace, which is also the largest privately held exposition center in Michigan. Blair has also most recently completed the final phases of a 254-unit, award-winning luxury townhomes known as Central Park Estates. Today, Blair Bowman, Novi leader and businessman, will be joining us. Blair, good to have you here today.
Thank you for having me.
Blair, can you tell us a little bit about Rock Financial Showplace?
Sure. It's a 320,000 square foot, as you mentioned, privately owned convention, exposition, and conference center. We like to call it the move to improve from the old facility. The new place hosts all the same type of shows and conferences and conventions, but it has a great deal of improvement to it. Higher ceilings, lobby space, and we have a great banquet and conference center too, with a wonderful ballroom and great food service and a full kitchen.
Great, great. You started out at Michigan State. You got your degree in finance.
Yes.
Then you went on to the School of Detroit School of Law, and you passed the bar exam. Yet you ended up in real estate. How did that all come about?
Well, my family comes from a real estate background. My father, Bill Bowman Sr., is the owner and operator of Thompson Brown Company, which is a local commercial industrial real estate firm. Also did a lot of development, still does some development work as well.
Really?
So I kind of grew up and cut my teeth in the real estate business. And actually, while going to college, particularly at Michigan State, I would commute back and forth and worked in particularly the Novi and Farmington Hills area in the commercial real estate field.
Okay, so working with your father then, you had a great deal of insight into the real estate industry, and obviously you had the opportunity to follow in his footsteps. Yeah,
to a certain degree, and I kind of bug him a little bit because he was responsible for making me to go to the committee meetings that were formed to work out what to do with that old abandoned building at 96 and Novi Road. So,
exactly. Blair, how did the concept of privately owning an exposition center come about?
Well, as I mentioned, there was a committee that was formed, and through just kind of word of mouth, Irv Yaknis from the Building Industries Association heard about the committee and heard about the building, and he joined us one day and asked if anybody had ever thought about doing an expo center. And everybody kind of looked and said no, but maybe we could. And so I went out and researched, what it took to maybe think about converting it into an expo center, and found that it was very difficult. Normally, these things are private or publicly owned and bonded and built, and they lose money. So I came back to the committee 2 weeks later and said we got to find somebody with enough money and that's silly enough to do this thing. And after the meeting, Mr. Yaktis approached me and said, "Well, maybe you should do it." To which I, responded, "I got the silly part down pat, but I don't have any money." So he brought in another couple of association groups and talked about maybe some upfront deposits, and really believed in the concept, and just really by hook and by crook, we made it happen.
Exactly. So just the relationships you had with people, and just selling your idea to the different potential investors, I guess, is really what drove.
Yeah, there really wasn't any investors, to be honest with you. Again, it was our big four, as we call them, the Michigan Boating Industries Association, the Building Industries Association, Marback, the RV and Camper Group, and then MUCC with Outdoorama, that we formed some license agreements and got advanced deposits from them. And then I took out a second mortgage on my house, and which thrilled my wife. But then we literally moved into the building about 3 weeks after that, and held our first show in 2 months after that. So,
great.
To which we were shuttling everybody, and had no parking lots, had no lights, didn't even know where the light switches were. But we knew that there was more than a germ of an idea there. That even that early show, which was Meisel Cisco, and shuttling people from all the local restaurants and hotels, it worked. People were extremely happy with the location and the flexibility of the building.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of location, I mean, you started out with, developing the Novi Expo Center in Novi. Right down Grand River, you decided to build Rock Financial Showplace. I mean, what is your draw to Novi? And really, Novi is such a great community, but why Novi?
Well, I mean, actually, there was, unfortunately, a lot working against Novi, because to try to find a place in Novi, a large enough piece of land, was a daunting task. We really didn't hold out a lot of hope for that. But as I mentioned, starting off in the real estate business, one of the first pieces of property I listed was a 38-acre piece of property out along Grand River. And just as we decided to start looking at whether or not there would be some property available, the owner of that piece called me, had a deal fall through on him, and he said, I'm wanting to move this piece, and wanted to do it quickly, and was willing to take a pretty reduced price. So it was somewhat fate, call it, but we were able to, within 30 days, close on that piece of property, and then assemble 6 more parcels around it to develop 55 acres. And that was a key. And Novi is a great location. It is central to everything. You can get to the airport, you can get to downtown, you can get to Ann Arbor, Flint. So the demographic draw with Novi in the middle is really important.
Exactly. Now, the location's perfect, but now we've also changed the name from Novi Expo Center to Rock Financial Showplace.
Yes.
Now, where did this concept come about, and what kind of drove you to utilize that name?
Well, and naming rights has become popular and was really hot for a while. It's actually tailed off a little bit now, but other facilities had done it, and obviously stadiums and things like that. So we talked with some experts in that field, and just kind of inquired as to whether or not there would be value there. And sure enough, it seemed to make sense. It wasn't an easy deal to strike, and we had to find the right partner, a local and regional type of a partner that would want the type of exposure that our facility could provide. So it was a real win-win situation. And as I said, being privately funded, it was a key component of bringing in a modest amount of naming rights revenue, but also a really incredible amount of exposure. Obviously, Rock Financial is a great partner. They do a tremendous amount of advertising. So we're able to capitalize on that, and our shows are able to capitalize on that. So we do better, the shows do better, the facility does better, community does better.
Exactly. So. And then the name recognition, I mean, it just, everybody knows where the Rock Financial Showplace is.
Yeah.
What type of challenges do you face being in this industry?
Well, I mean, we do still continue to struggle with just the bottom line aspect of things, because it is such a tight industry, and all of our competition, literally, within the state is government subsidized, and therefore they don't have the mortgage payment, they don't have a light bill in many cases, and it's very difficult to compete against that, particularly when they're trying to drive people into the facility in order to put them in the hotels and come to the shops and things like that. So we continually have to watch the bottom line and make sure that we are every day challenged to make sure that we increase revenues, but also watch expenses. Beyond that, I think that really the limitations of this business are only self-imposed. I mean, there's really nothing too great that we can't achieve, and we're looking at the next step with a hotel to be attached, and that's the exciting next part.
And the hotel, is that going to be located on site, or are you looking at an off-site
No, it would be
location?
definitely attached. Not sure exactly. We're getting some input from architects and planners right now as to where that should be positioned, but it will be attached so that you can, out of the elements, the heads in the beds, as they say in the industry, right over the meeting space.
Yeah, exactly. That's fabulous. Real estate in Michigan has been a challenge.
No question.
No doubt about it. And coming with a real estate background, what do you see from a real estate perspective in the near future? And is any of those, the issues we're having with real estate impacting Rock Financial Showplace?
Well, let me start with the last first. We are, from the standpoint of the shows and the type of business that we're seeing, we are pleasantly exceeding expectations in both of those regards. Again, challenged on the expense side, but certainly the business model is working. So we're not seeing any of that. All the shows have major increases in attendance, and we're getting and attracting a lot of additional shows. Now, as far as the real estate market is concerned, it is probably one of the most difficult markets I've ever seen. And not that I've been doing this forever, but it's as bad as I've ever seen it from a couple of perspectives. The amount of industrial space that's vacant and available. But that's, I think, a result of a changing industry from the auto-related and supplier-related businesses. Something's going to have to fill that gap, and I think there's a lot of exciting industries. Obviously, the medical industry with Providence Hospital is a great example of that. That is going to, I think, help Novi in particular. The residential marketplace was so strong for so long. I would offer that maybe that was a correction that needed to take place, and I don't see this area particularly. I don't think it's going to be a long-term problem. I think that it will rebound. Oftentimes in this marketplace, we can't see it going well when it's going bad, and we can't see it going bad when it's going well. And no doubt it will turn around.
Very good, very good. Let's keep our fingers crossed.
Oh, it will.
When we come back, we're going to get a personal perspective on Blair Bowman.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. Feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
Welcome back to Novi Pulse. Today joining us is Blair Bowman from Rock Financial Showplace. Blair, tell me a little bit about your family.
Sure. My wife, Barry, she also graduated from Farmington High. And we have 4 children. Blair Jr. is 16, and he's driving now, which is an interesting experience. But he's a great kid. He's captain of his high school lacrosse team, and just finished up a great season, and he was voted most valuable offensive player. Mackenzie, our 14-year-old daughter, she's a dancer, and she's got her big recital tonight, as a matter of fact. She's growing up real quick, but she's great. 11-year-old Grant, he's a lacrosse player as well, and on the swim team this summer. And 7-year-old Parker, who's a handful and our last for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. 4 kids. That's,
4 kids.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
How do you balance, having 4 children, a wife, and doing all the activities you do, and running a facility like Rock Financial Showplace?
Well, I mean, I have a lot of people, a lot of good people that I have the good fortune to work with, and so that part is easier now than it was in the beginning. I will say that. It was difficult getting the business started and spending so much time away. And I don't think I really did balance it too well. I think now I'm able to better, probably spending more time at home than they even want me to. But
Exactly.
We try to do a lot of things together as a family, and we go camping and rafting and things like that, and enjoy that.
That's good. It's good to keep the family together.
Indeed.
They have a saying that it's behind every great man is a very strong woman. So.
Well, that's for sure in my case.
Blair, what do you find most fulfilling about what you do with Rock Financial Showplace?
I mean, the greatest thing about our business is that it's something new every single day and every single show. There's truly a show for everything and an association for everything. So even though it's kind of the same thing that we do over and over, it's always new faces and new and interesting things. So that's the greatest thing. And also having, I think, as a private organization, though, without having taxpayer subsidy, where we have the same exact benefits for the community with the spin-off economically and being a part of the community, I think that's pretty rewarding.
Yeah, great. So just attracting those people and other businesses and the people who use the Expo Center, just bringing everybody in to Novi.
We had a study done just prior to moving forward with the plans for the move, and it was estimated in our first year of operation that we'd have over $250 million worth of direct economic impact on the area.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incredible. Blair, what would you say drives you to be so successful?
Oh, I don't know. Fear of not succeeding, I guess, to a certain degree. Actually, it's just just keeping the interest level up. Things like developing and building, that's interesting to me, and kind of motivates me to get up every day and think of the next step.
Great. And keeping that in mind, do you think there was a particular person or event that profoundly affected the direction your life has taken?
Well, I'd have to say again, my father and my mother as well. I mean, both of them were huge influences, and I gave them a lot of trouble growing up, but somewhere in there they saw that I was going to maybe turn out to be okay. There's been so many along the way. Seriously, I mentioned Mr. Yaknis, and Bob Rood, who was the owner of a display and setup company that just impacted me greatly. Some of the great veterans from the Novi Veterans Group, Bob Bowman and Dwayne Bell, who have passed, but we did a memorial to them and dedicated it at our opening that's out in front of the building. Those guys were truly a part of the greatest generation, and of course we're losing them all too quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. So really, it's the people that have surrounded you and really influenced your life that have really molded you, I guess, into
without
the person
question.
that you become today.
Without question.
That's incredible. If business wasn't a priority or unimportant to you, what other type of life pursuits would you engage in?
Well, professional golf is out. Actually, I am trying to help out with Providence Hospital, and certainly volunteerism is an important thing to me. I used to be very active in the Longacre House, the community center of Farmington Hills. So I think, being active in philanthropic and charitable pursuits is something that certainly I would like to think even still will be able to be involved with.
Yeah, absolutely. So community involvement then,
Yes.
not even tomorrow, but today is very important to you. I mean, what kind of role does that play in your life?
Well, trying to again give back to the community, which has been so very good to us. So we try to support everything from the the local ball teams and playing the different golf outings to, again, like I said, helping out with the library, with the hospital, and trying to give back. I mean, that's an important part. I think a business is as much a citizen as a resident is in a community, and I think that's important. The idea of community is very important to me and to our business.
Yeah, very well said, and I couldn't agree with you more. How do you think the recognition of your public service, how does that affect what you do? I mean, is that another driver, or what
It's somewhat embarrassing, to tell you the truth. I don't like that limelight, if you would. It's nice to be recognized, no question, particularly amongst your peers when you are succeeding. But that certainly is not a driver for me.
That's good. So mostly the reward from your giving, perhaps, than it is the actual recognition of...
On the business side, again, the completion, and in our case, it doesn't seem to be that anything's ever completed. We're always looking to try to do the next thing. But yeah, I mean, the giving back to the community is as important as anything.
That's very well said. I couldn't agree with you more. Our final question, Blair, if you were to offer some suggestions to today's young people just coming into the world of business, education, politics, or the media, what advice would you give to them?
Well, first and foremost, I would say stay put here in Michigan, and particularly in this area, Oakland County. I cannot think of a better place to be. Obviously, education is important. We have some of the greatest educational institutions. Michigan State's not bad. There's that other college too, somewhere in Ann Arbor. But just fantastic educational institutions. We've got a great base of business. Oakland County and Ken Rogers and Brooks Patterson have done a great job with Automation Alley, where they saw kind of a brain drain where some of our brightest and best were leaving for Silicon Valley and the like. They've just done a great job with branding that and really bringing to light that this is a technological area as well too. And like I said before about business, it's there's going to be things that are going to fill the gaps, and we're going to move on to the next level here as well. And there's a lot of great things going on. So just stay put here. That's what I would say.
Couldn't agree with you more. That's all the time we have today. Thank you for joining Blair, Bowman, and I on Novi Pulse. If you own a business or know someone that does, that'd be interested in being on our program, visit our website at www.novipulse.com for information and upcoming showtimes. I'm Greg Chapman, and you've been watching Novi Pulse.